What's good? I'm at my spot. Yeah, I'm at my spot. But today, I just wanted to talk about doom scrolling, okay? And we talk about doom scrolling a lot, innit? But, fuck, man. The way doom scrolling takes energy, I'm not joking when I say this, man. You have to watch the content that you consume. Just in general as well. Let's just talk about the content you consume in general. Because I'm farting. I've been farting a lot in this weather, I'll be real. But in terms of the content that you consume, whether that's the conversation that you have with other people, it's the I don't want to call it intellectual, but what you feed off in this life, okay, will defy you, okay? It's not just your friends. That people say, show me your friends, show me your future, this, that. All of this is true, but really and truly it's what you consume that shows your future, okay? It's what you are, okay? And what you are is who you consume, well, who you hang around with, because that's what you're consuming. You're consuming that relationship, okay? So I'm not necessarily asking you to, don't watch, like, only watch, like, informative stuff. Because I have a great alternative for you guys, because you see me, I have that same tendency, bro. I always have. Where I feel like I have to just, sometimes I have to numb myself. I don't want to be this intellectual guy all the time because, sometimes I just don't want to, I don't feel like that's good for my brain. Well, not my brain, but my spirit, because the whole idea is, you want a quiet mind, you know what I'm saying? And if you're feeding yourself with information all the time, you ain't got a quiet mind, you got a loud mind. Because it's just overloading with information, bro. So that's why you should focus on getting your information from the source. And that's why I say sit alone. That's the best way to get your information directly from the source. If you sit alone, that information just runs straight into your spirit. Okay? And there's, like, that's the thing that, like I said to you guys, I get my best ideas on my bedside, isn't it? Like, I'm not joking when I say that. Like, it's the truth. That's because that's the one time I ain't got no phone, I ain't got nothing. It's the one time in my day. I can't sleep though, that's the thing. I can't sleep. I've got struggle sleeping. I don't know if that's just the weather or an issue of mine at the moment, but I'm really struggling to sleep at the moment. I also want to get rid of my bed. I want to sleep on the floor because my bed is causing me a lot of backaches, but my mum's not allowing it. Like, she's just being really sentimental about my bed, but she doesn't even sleep in it, man. But yeah, as I was saying, if you wanna feed that part of you that doesn't really want to consume, directly that sort of content, and bro, watch cartoons, bro. Me and my brother are watching Total Drama Island right now, bro. When I tell you that's like, bro, it's the funniest stuff that I've watched in a minute, bro. Like, it's just jokes, and it's nice and it's calming, like, because it's a cartoon, like, it's relaxing, And again, I think I want to make another video about that. About, like, watching cartoons as just, like, just to fulfill those desires. Because again, is that I talked about in another video, these desires, like, especially when you're young, they're always going to live in you, okay? And until you practice more and more being with yourself, okay, the more you get older, you know what I'm saying, the more things you do, then, like, you know what I'm saying, like, and I clocked that, sorry, my bad. I clocked that with PlayStation, like I said, like, I used to play PlayStation, I used to bang PlayStation all the time. Now they even bang it like that, and if I do, it's just like, it's not the same, innit? Like, I just want to kind of get off it, you know what I mean? And you have to understand the same thing will happen with this hunger that we have to scroll, and this hunger we have to consume content, this, that, this hunger that we have to have these friends, this, that, you know what I mean? We have to understand that eventually the universe will coach that for us, but in the meantime, we have to kind of play the role, you know what I mean? We have to accept the fact that these desires are just part of our flawed ego. And the only way that you can know that out is by accepting the fact that the ego is flawed, you know what I mean? You have to accept it. You can't tell yourself, oh, I'm just going to ignore it because I've got this perfect ego. My ego is so strong. It's strong-willed, it's got good willpower. No, man. We have to accept these things, and we have to be reasonable within them and work around them in that way. For sure. for sure. But yeah, man, that's what I wanted to talk about. Really, I just wanted to talk about this easing. You know, just the easing of the feeling to need to do things. I need to stop doing this. I need to become more spiritual. This time, you don't need to do anything, fam. Also, this spot's kind of stinking now. I ain't been in a minute. I hope that's just the neighbours just cooking like some poo food, fam. I hope this isn't a permanent smell in it, because you got to understand, this is actually my spot. Like, look at that. It's very nice. And obviously, when it's like this, I can't lie though. For sure, like when what do you call it? If I get like a stand, bro, I'll just sit up here, bro, and record my videos here. Because ain't nobody comes here. Nobody comes here. Oh, that is down the road, so I don't have to go that far, bro, because, you know, it's like, that's the thing. Sometimes I don't want to go too far just for a video. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I'm just enjoying the sun. I'm enjoying the weather. I'm really just trying to enjoy life at the moment. Just navigating through life. You have to address how weird life feels sometimes, though. Especially when you get more conscious. It starts to feel really weird. Like, it's like, you know when people talk about, what's the word, disassociation, or whatever, you feel like nothing's real. Okay, it's the same type of feeling, but of course, you still have the backhand of the belief that you do think that one thing is real, which is, like, you know, spirituality, you know what I'm saying? But the disassociation from the wider world, which you appears apart from that, is the weird part, because, you know, you build friendships, you build bonds your whole life, and you realise that none of that is, you know. But again, I don't really want to get too trapped into these thinkings, you know. I just want to get to a point where I've just stuck onto the baseline of, you know, I've stuck onto the baseline, like, this is my path, you know what I mean, and I want to just, you know, cater around that. But again, I can't know what's going to happen to me, because it's like, this is another thing that I'm going to talk about now. You know what it is? Because I was going to just, you know, make 2 videos, but I'm just going to talk about this in this video now. I wanted to talk about the ego. Okay, we got some butterflies. I saw a nice little butterfly yesterday. They came onto my hand. It was like really nice, man. But yeah, I wanted to talk about the ego, okay, and how the ego wants to control, okay. The ego wants to control, like the same way that now I'm on my spiritual path, my ego wants to control what's next. My ego wants to, you know, be, and he wants to know exactly what this spiritual path is going to look like. He wants to know what my spiritual partner is going to look like. He wants to know exactly where we're going to live, what we're going to do. He wants to know, you know, like how this channel is going to do, you know. These are just like the thoughts that are just like running in my head, and I'm airing them. Like, you can't air them, but it's like, it's just fuck, man. The ego, especially when it's at this stage, because again, I'm in a very youthful stage in this, you know, timeline, okay? Because I'll be honest, in terms of like true spiritual gnawing, and I was to say, if this was like, if I was to call this period that I'm in like the beginning of that spiritual gnawing, I would say that I only really like not fully committed to this path, but in terms of understanding this path and embracing it, you know, we're only a couple months in, innit? I don't even know how long. We're just a couple months in. And of course, I've just gotten, you know, off certain shit, like obviously sober-minded now, you know what I mean? So this is just the raw entry part. So this is, well, I hope it's the most difficult part. But of course, I can never know for sure. But I'm just trying to break down the ego bit by bit, you know? Trying to come to terms with that. And yeah, just trying to take life a bit slower at the moment. I really, today felt a bit different because today I could feel my energy being drained. Because I was definitely doom scrolling a bit. You know, you could just feel that. Even when I was editing, I could feel the life force going, man. But I just, fuck, man. But you know, the thing about me, though, the one thing about me, yeah? Because you see, like, I know that I'm confused at the moment, but I know eventually I'm going to figure it out, like, you get me? Like, that's the thing. Like, even now, man will look at me and think, like, like, he's come bare far. Like, I've come bare far, that's the thing. Like, these are my problems now. I remember when I was in secondary, yeah? I remember I had chronic, like, misbehaving problems. Like, I could not stop misbehaving. I'm not joking as well, like. That was like the most addictive, confusing experience I've ever had in my life. Like, it was just out of my control, the way I used to act. And even when I was younger, I remember I used to always cry, but I miss that now. I wish I could cry. I barely cry now. When I do, it is meaningful, but still, I miss when I used to just cry, man. I used to get buzz of that, like, just crying. But yeah, man. Interestingly enough, interestingly enough, I just gotta see what's next in line for me, bro. But I'm gonna go sit in silence for a bit. But peace, okay?